Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Michaela Peters. This is my morning edition with my baby. And she's kind of entertained, I guess, because she can see herself in the mirror. In the picture here. This is my drinking coffee. Drinking coffee with a child on your lap is definitely an art, which I have done on the airplane. Anyway, today's video is going to be about problems that immigrants have. I feel bad. I got myself ready for this video so I don't look crazy, and this baby looks crazy. That's a trick. Okay. I don't know if she's gonna want to stay here for this whole video or crawl around. Yeah, now she's kind of starting to crawl, and it's definitely dangerous. But anyway. So, yesterday, I went to a Fulbright networking event because I had the Fulbright scholarship for my master's here. And I just think it's kind of funny because there was also... Okay, please don't use the computer. There was also one of them in Washington, D.C. last month at the beginning of the month, and I'm just casually showing up to both of them. It's like I'm omnipresent, but no. And so I had some people there yesterday who were like, so, like, what are you doing? All we ever see is that you're traveling, and, like, are you here? Are you in the U.S.? And I'm like, undetermined. No, I mean, this kind of reminds me of this roommate who I had, who anytime you would ask her what her plans were after she got her master's, she'd be like, I don't know. And she just, like, would not answer the question. Now she's doing a PhD, which, like, not sure that she knew she was going to do a PhD, but that's what ended up happening. So sometimes people don't really like to talk about their future plans. It's almost like, I know that some people think that if they say it out loud, it's not going to happen. I've always had the opposite approach where I like to talk about something I want as much as I possibly can because I feel like that weirdly manifests it. It's worked for me pretty much most times. Yeah, I would say so. Okay, so anyway, today's video is really going to be talking about immigrant problems, and my point with saying this, you know, that I was at this event yesterday, and it's funny because people are like, what are you doing now? And I'm like, well, currently the plan is that I'm going to do my PhD in Finland. How long is that going to take, and when is that going to happen? Exactly, I don't know, but that's what I tell people when I see them, and that's pretty much true. So... Oh, please. The problem is now the baby's trying to use the computer, and babies don't use computers yet. You have to learn to read first. Okay. Anyway, so while I was at this, oh my god, sick voice. Yeah, somebody was asking me one time, like, do you ever get sick when you travel? Honestly, like, yeah, like right now, but I just power through it. Like right now we are in Helsinki, but yeah. Am I really supposed to disclose my location on this channel? Whatever. It's probably pretty difficult to pinpoint me in a population of roughly 1 million people, especially when I am spending time at my friends' houses primarily. So... I was at this event yesterday, and I reconnected with some people, so the consensus is either people kind of, like, got jobs or are doing PhDs. Seems to be 50-50. And, you know, one of the discussions I had with somebody yesterday who's now doing their PhD, who did their master's in Jyväskylä, was that they significantly like Helsinki better than Jyväskylä. And I admitted that during the time that I was a master's student... Oh, really? Okay. You know, people feel some kind of way about having their children in public, like, on the internet, and it's just like, I think the thing that I always think about, especially with doing this channel, is, like, people, I know it only takes one psychopath, but, like, people really just don't care as much about you as you think they do. Most people are just worried about their own lives and will proceed as such. That's how humans work, since they're programmed for survival. You have to worry about yourself to survive. If you only worried about other people, you would not be alive. I'd say it's a split of some percentage. Anyway, so I admitted that while I was doing my master's and every time I would come to Helsinki, I would often wonder, would I have been a lot happier if I had, my dude, if I had just done my, if I had just done my entire degree in Helsinki. Well, to be honest, that wasn't really an option because there weren't that many awards for Helsinki. The whole appeal of applying to LUT was there were like 6 open awards, and obviously I got awarded one. But one of the challenges, aside from just being in Finland as a foreigner, is definitely being in small town Finland as a foreigner. And part of it is just there's simply not enough to do. But the other thing is the lack of ability that many foreigners really have to be able to connect with people. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about in this video is the challenges that foreign people, immigrants, are facing when they're coming to Finland, and how theoretically I really wish that there was a better means to support them emotionally, but I still don't know what that's going to look like. And as I thought about making this video this morning, because I woke up with this idea, I thought about how you have ESN, right? You have the Erasmus Student Network, and the whole purpose of ESN is for international people to meet each other. Well, this works well, but this mostly is geared towards young single people. What about all the people who you have who are immigrating, not necessarily as young single people, but maybe people who are married, but their spouse is in a different country, people who have kids who are either waiting for their kids to come over here, or who already have their kids over here and are trying to help them integrate, and maybe their spouses are already here and also can't find jobs and are struggling as well. So there are a lot of these things that, although there are practical ways to support them... Okay, why don't you go do something? Now she feels lonely. Okay, one moment. Let me figure out a way to entertain her. Alright, I just fed her. Let's see if that holds her off enough for me to finish making this video. Probably not, because now she's making noises. Oh my goodness. See, this is pretty challenging today because she's not asleep yet, and I feel like the goal of every day is to just get ready and get out of the house quickly enough because she does not like being at home. That must be from me. If I'm not cooking, cleaning, or sleeping, why am I at home? Unless somebody's visiting me, which I guess happens more in Finland. But anyway, so a lot more of the friends I have, admittedly, are young, single people, but I have a variety of different friends. So worse lighting over here, but it is what it is. So yeah, I think that one of the challenges especially here is the job market situation. And, what I think about in the US is if you just need to work and if you just need money, there are a million minimum wage-ish jobs that you could work simultaneously. So I think because people are working more, there's kind of more of a purpose that they have. And I think one of the issues is that it's difficult for people to find purpose here necessarily, and then it's difficult for people on top of that to find connection. So, that is kind of why I'm thinking about what kind of support could be out there for people who are more in this situation of navigating uncertainty. There are constantly things changing with the laws. Actually, in my favor, they now have this new permanent residence law where if you've taken 15 credits of Finnish and you have a degree from Finland, you can apply for a permanent residence permit. Cool. You don't even need to pass the Uki testy thing, which was my biggest concern. Yeah, and everybody I talk to about now, they're well, I only have 6 credits or 12 credits, and I'm I took literally every single Finnish class that was available besides one of them that I dropped out of because I was doing my thesis. And then I tried to take it again after the baby was born, and I was my brain is not capable of this at the moment. So essentially, yeah, the laws are constantly changing. So that's one piece of navigating uncertainty. Also, due to the job market being the way it is, people kind of get into this, would it make more sense for me to pursue opportunities outside of Finland? Should I be looking at other European countries? And I think one of the other big stressors is that, people are coming to Finland from countries that are not as prosperous economically as Finland. And one of the biggest challenges about this would be that, your ability to have any sort of disposable income is not really there. And, unless people are getting it from their parents. And then we keep having all these like wars and sanctions, which is making it even more difficult for people from some of these countries to be able to receive money from home. But compounded by the fact that it's not difficult, or it is not easy, therefore it is difficult for you to get a job casually, to be able to just, have spending cash, as we say. Even that is very difficult. So, there are just a lot of factors here that contribute to a day-to-day anxiety around foreign people living in Finland. On one hand, you can try to focus on being grateful that, you've even made it to Finland from some of these countries that, again, are less economically prosperous than Finland. However, on the other hand, you can't help but feel the daily stresses of how you're just going to make ends meet and, simultaneously enjoy your life while living in what most people would arguably consider a very boring country. Again, I love this as somebody who is constantly overstimulated. However, not everybody is going to feel that way. And you have to keep in mind that most people are coming from countries where, I see. Most people are coming from countries where, there's just a lot denser of a population. There's like a lot more to do, and it's just a huge adjustment, like psychologically. And I think Finland, at least for me, was kind of the first opportunity that I had to really focus on my mental health and become more aware of a lot of things that I never would have been aware of if I had not come here to begin with. Oh, I love the casual diapers in the background. That should be a paid partnership. No, I'm kidding. But somebody told me that the Pirka brand diapers from K-Market are like the same as the Moomin ones, and I'm here to tell you that they're not, but it's fine. I always buy the cheapest diaper because that's how I am, and honestly, they get the job done the same exact way. So, yeah, but, I think for me, and the thing I kind of try to explain is there's just like, an overwhelming amount of stress living in the U.S. That, I was experiencing a lot of like competitiveness growing up that I did not necessarily, that's a little bit better lighting-wise, that I did not necessarily love, and I come here and I feel like I can finally kind of breathe, and, I think that having the opportunity to worry about your mental health is in fact a luxury that not everybody in the world gets. So, therefore, I feel pretty, like, honored, maybe, that I've even had this opportunity, or fortunate, rather, but not everybody has like kind of reached the other side of that, and it was definitely a lot of work to get there. I straightened my hair and it is already getting not straight. Like, what the heck? Is it really that humid outside? I guess so. Whatever. It's fine. Okay. So, I don't know what the solution is for this, but it is a problem, and it's a real problem, especially for, people bringing their entire families over. But, maybe this is just kind of the common thread in the story of immigration, is that people are hoping for a better life abroad somewhere else, but then once they actually get there, it's sort of like the grass is always greener on the other side. To quote somebody, but my friend quotes this all the time, the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. So a lot of the trick of this is adjusting your attitude or changing the things you have the power to change and accepting the things you don't have the power to change, which is very difficult for a lot of people, don't get me wrong. But it's something that's just very necessary in terms of managing your mental health. So I'm going to continue to think about this and what I think a solution could be to this, not even necessarily from a profit perspective, although I am American, but just, maybe I could use this channel to get international people together in Finland as a sort of support group. I'm thinking about group therapy for immigrants where people can share their, problems, and then you can break it down by country if that helps people, because people love to keep to their own. That's part of being a human. But I think that's why I like Finland, actually. I love the variety. So, I don't know. Really, I think that's it, because now I'm getting hungry and she's getting fussy. What is going on here? What is going on? Do you need another nap of the day? Oh, a tired baby. Tired baby already this morning? You just woke up an hour ago. All right, maybe because she's sick or something. I have no idea. Interesting. Okay, but yeah, I hear a lot of the stories of like, how people feel regardless of what country they're from, the adaptation being very difficult here, but then also compounded by the uncertainty of what it looks like being able to stay in this country. I think as an American, I'm obviously coming from a place of significantly more privilege because the opportunities I have are very great compared to a lot of other people. But, and trying to be empathetic towards the common problem. Aw, tired. What? The common problem that we're all having. I really am trying to think of a solution for this, and I think some of the solution might just be connection. People are living alone in these studios, they're going back and forth to school and work, they're tired, and maybe what they need is a little bit more connection. So I'm going to think about how to deliver that somehow. Well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk on problems in Finland, which seems to be a pretty big discussion. But that's everything I have, I think, for the day. Trying to multitask this cranky baby who apparently wants to go back to sleep, which is fine. We can do that. We've got nothing going on today. All right. Well, until next time. Bye. Bye. Say bye.